and skill ecosystem, if you make skilling and skill ecosystem extremely detailed and very structured. For example, in the informal traditional system of education, where the painter is taught by his ustad, many things are not in a structured way. So they learn as they go along and they pick up the job. And it is not that they are not aware of the skill requirements, but they don't probably give equal emphasis to many things, including soft skills. Imagine that training, if it is structured and if it is oriented towards improvement of productivity, and it is also assessed in a proper manner, you will find soon the quality of skilling going up. When the quality of skill goes up, and when we find that people are making the difference out, are finding that there is a difference between a skilled, trained painter or a trained skilled workman and a non-skilled, they are ready to pay more. Once people start recognizing productivity with income, then livelihoods increase and jobs become aspirational. Our job is to see how to make this training effective, productivity oriented, and most of all, how to use new technologies in making this happen. So that is the whole idea. The idea is we want to make training extremely structured, effective, and leading to a productivity improvement. So we have invited Growthsource, Preeya from Growthsource, who heads the learning and development team, to share with us the module we have created for assistant decorative painter. It is just an example how we can do structured training without the variations that come about because of trainers, but all with the trainer, so that the trainer's ability to create interest amongst the student is also brought in. We can see Preeya explaining how this learning management system is an effective tool to improve the quality of training. Then we will have Mr. Sabarinath from Skillveri, who will show us how spraying can be learned through the art of simulation, through the science of simulation, without wasting paint, yet learning 80% of the technique, not just well, but properly. And that is again a tool technology we need to grab during our training modules or when we roll out our training programs. And lastly, we have invited Mr. Sridhar from Innovatus, who actually brings in a lot of software tools, digital tools to make skills interesting. In the case of painting, there are tools which he will show us, which can help the painter actually enhance his job role, so much so that he uses new technologies to show the color visualization of the painting work that he does, to calculate the work, the cost of the work that he's doing, so on and so forth. So without taking much of your time, and once again welcoming all of you, I would now request Jigisha to start the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to first introduce our speaker, Preeya Gandhi. She's a BE Electronics from KJ Somaiya and postgraduate in marketing from Symbiosis, and has done advanced marketing program from IIM Calcutta. In her 15 years plus experience, she had the opportunity to strategize, develop, and manage successful marketing programs offline as well as online for business growth, customer acquisition, and retention. She started her career in customer database management and gradually started taking a leadership role in marketing across different industries. She is currently with Growthsource as the Chief Strategy and Revenue Officer. I would like to invite Preeya ma'am to now take over and walk us through their products.
Hello, Jigisha. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, Mr. Acharya.
Good afternoon, Priya. Go ahead.
So first of all, thanks a lot, Jigisha, for this introduction. It
Thank you.
surely sounds very big, but I'm a very simple person. And good morning to everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank Paints and Coating Skill Council for giving us this opportunity for sharing what all can happen in the field of training. I, coming from a corporate world, have experienced a lot of trainings, and by far all my trainings have been classroom trainings. And I would want to make this session more interactive. Again, I don't want this to be a monologue, which is a typical problem of training, that there is one person who keeps on talking, and then there is no response. And we don't know if the point is very well conveyed, whether it is well understood by the audience or not. So I have quickly done. So if I were to just ask, and if you can just put up in the chat box, and maybe Jigisha can just tell us what is the kind of experience you all have had from students whom you all have been imparting training, because I know that most of the people on this call are training partners. So what are your challenges that have been in the training industry? If I can get a few answers, it will just help. Jigisha, if you can check the chat box.
Yeah, sure. I will. I'm already checking. Just waiting for people to start responding.
And if I don't get a response, basically this is like any other classroom training where no one is listening to me. Okay, Jigisha, have you got anything?
No, not yet.
I can see Mr. Sabarinath smiling. So I'm sure at least he would be able to sell, because I know what Skillveri actually does, but he would be able to pinpoint some real problems in the skilling or the training industry.
I think there are two already, Priya. One says attention, grabbing attention, and to know if the participants are understanding or not. It's difficult to understand. Yeah.
Very well said. Someone who's really identified two very important problems, that if a person is not paying attention, what is the reason? It is very important to gain the attention of the learner, because only when he is attentive, there is something that will go in the mind. There is something that he will learn. That is something that he will put into practice. So now let me take you through some of the basics. I'll just share my screen. Can I share my screen?
More replies?
Yeah, you can share. I have allowed you for sharing screen
okay.
already. One or two more points. Right. They have said getting the interest in the subject, making people attend the training itself is a task, and articulation of the trainer. All these are being listed as some of the issues. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I will pick up each of the points as I am going through the presentation. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so I will have to reshare.
We did, we could see that earlier. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is about effective trainings. What we are trying to do, and what I'm going to do is, instead of sticking to this presentation, I would actually go by the questions and answers that I've actually got in this one question, that what is the problem in the skilling? As someone said, getting the attention of the learner. Now look at, there are so many films that get released, but what grabs the attention? Why some films do very well and some don't do very well? It's primarily the content. It is the way the content is displayed. It is the way the content that is structured. The moment we start looking at content in a manner that it is not a one-way dialogue, where you actually, what is attention? You just ask me, you are Priya, your name is Preeya Gandhi, I'm not interested. But the moment you ask me, Priya, you have to do the presentation. What is your name? I mean, there is something that tells me you have to respond. If you don't respond, you don't move ahead. That is where comes the first thing, that how do you get the attention of the learner? Make the content interactive. Now, this is in classroom as well as in terms of e-learning content. Now, what happens in in-class training? Usually, there is one trainer and many students, and this might not happen. But when you look at e-content, the key The key elements of an effective training program comes from a training content and medium of training. And of course, there are much more to it, which I'm sure Mr. Sridhar and the team at Innovatus will cover. But when we talk about training content, how will the training content be attractive? It is when it is interactive. It is not a one-way dialogue. It makes the learner also respond to it. Now, when the learner responds, the system or the trainer will know, is he talking sense or is he not talking sense? Has whatever been taught understood by the audience, or it has not been understood by the audience? Come to the next point of localization. Knowledge is very well understood when it's in your local language. So it's very important that whatever communication happens, it happens in their native language. Now just look at it. The number of films that actually work in Tamil are in Tollywood are Tamil. They are not as much of Bollywood. Or in India, for to say, it is not as much of English movies. It's primarily because we understand our native language. We grasp things much faster in our native language. So localization plays a very, very important role. Look at bite-sized content. Typically, when you try to teach someone everything in one day or just in a couple of days, it becomes very, very difficult for them to retain everything that they have learned. Also, in case of an in-classroom training, there is nothing to get back to either the trainer or to the training content or to exact words that the trainer would have used as examples to teach the audience. Somewhere that is lost. It is not recorded. It is not accessible. By putting a content in an e-content format and making it segmented in such a manner that it is comprehensive and you take up only the main point, it becomes much easier. And that is where content creation plays a very important role. It is about the instructional design. You look at this entire content, which could be a 350 pages book. But is that everything that a learner needs to know? But pick up the right content, explain it in the best manner, and that is where it makes the duration shorter. It makes the learning more effective. Someone just told me that whether they have understood or not, how will you know? So that is where in time assessments and assessments play a very strong role. You do a small part because if the foundation is not very well understood, nothing beyond that will be understood. So at every module or at every snippet, you ask a question in relevance to the knowledge that has been imparted. This is the answers you will get to know whether the learner is attentive or it's not attentive, whether what needs to be changed. But for all this, it is very important that all of this is recorded somewhere. It is kept somewhere. It is monitored somewhere. And that, so, this is one part of content creation which can address issues like, how to gain the attention of the learner, how to check whether they have learned it or not, how to ensure that they are understanding, because we will be creating stuff in their local language, and how to ensure that there is no information overload. You actually give it in bits and pieces. Also make it easy for audience to consume that content whenever and wherever they want it. And then last is the assessments, as you can check not only at the end of the training, but in between also in a real-time basis whether they have understood it or not. And everyone kind of has to answer it in order to move forward. Otherwise, they don't move forward. That is the basics of e-learning content. So in a classroom training, what happens? If I ask a question, only 4 people responded. Rest all did not bother to respond. And that is where it makes the difference. That if everyone has to respond, only then their session goes ahead. Otherwise, it does not go ahead. This is how you can actually ensure that training is become effective. So just let me take you through this e-content that has been created for assistant paint decorator for PCSC, and you will see that how this content is engaging, how it is interactive, how it is very well logically segmented so that that entire stuff is concised into definite modules, how the knowledge check can be implemented. And then there is something called as gamification, which currently has not been done in this, but I can share some examples that Growthsource has done on some of the content, and how gamification can keep the competitiveness higher amongst the learners. It can ensure that you are getting very well practiced on the job that you're supposed to do. So just give me a second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So just look at this. So this is, so there are two things actually on this. I will come to the second part later on. But look at this content. This is about assistant paint decorator. And we have actually bifurcated this into 8 or 9 modules. And we have picked up the main key areas of this job role, wherein we are introducing them to the world of paints. We are telling them that how paints is prepared, what all is required to do a surface preparation, before getting into painting, how the paints have to be mixed, how they have to be applied, what are the kind of defects they can actually see after doing the painting job, what is the kind of communication that goes on the paint boxes, and how people should read it and understand what it actually means. In case there is a problem after application of paint, how the corrections can be implemented, what are the safety and health points that they need to keep in mind while doing this entire task. And then end is the certification. So I will just take you all through the paint preparation. So here you can see it actually tells me, the section will actually tell me about how to clean the surface. That is an entire gist. It tells me that before getting into the paint preparation, you have to actually clean the surface, you have to remove the old plane, how should you make the selection of the new plane, and then to understand about the substrate. Look at this video. This is the e-content that has been created for the module. So now you see, say this content has been specifically created in Hindi because we understand that most of the audience who would be getting into this kind of job role would probably be conversant with Hindi than English. But honestly speaking, we have capabilities of converting this into any language, understanding whether it is from Kannada, whether it is from Tamil, Bengali, we can do everything. So see, अगर मैं ये नहीं
इस सब जानकारी के लिए हमें निरीक्षण और मूल्यांकन करना चाहिए। निरीक्षण का मतलब परीक्षण, माप, जांच करना होता है। मूल्यांकन का मतलब किसी चीज की राशि, गुणवत्ता या महत्व का पता लगाना है।
Now look at this. It has told me something. Now I am stuck here. It is not like a classroom training where it will just keep going. I need to move on to the next one. It basically tells me how to understand about the paints and how to check about the paints.
पहला, विजुअल। निरीक्षण का मतलब देखकर निरीक्षण करना होता है, जैसे कि देखना कि सतह पर कहां कोटिंग की जरूरत है, कहीं डिफेक्ट है तो उसको कैसे ठीक किया जाए जिससे सतह को पेंट के लिए तैयार किया जा सके। दूसरा, सतह कंटेनमेंट के लिए हमें घुलनशील नमक सामग्री के बारे में भी जानना होता है। कुछ हाइड्रोस्कोपिक नेचर वाले नमक सतह पर,
जैसे आप इसमें now you will observe that there are some proper English words also used. It's also to ensure that the language is made in a manner that it is well understood. When people speak in Hindi or any of their native languages, it is not that they stick completely to it. Like water is still called water probably, or water is very well understood as water and not as pani. So some words like hygroscopic, it is a terminology used in the industry of paints, and there is a high chance that people actually understand. So in order to make the content relatable, we ensure that we retain those words. The key industry words like a screwdriver will be called as a screwdriver. A train will be called as train and not like a lopadgami. That is the kind of thing we actually ensure to ensure that people are understanding the content well.
ब्लिस्टरिंग पैदा कर देते हैं और पेंट समय से पहले खराब हो जाता है। ऐसी सतह को जांच लेना चाहिए।
Priya, can I ask
I'm
a
just
question?
taking, sure.
I just wanted to, I'm Milind Mahekar. I am also a trainer with PCSC.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask if this content is made only for online sessions or you are intending to use this for offlines also?
It can be used. So, we create content. So currently this was created for an online session, but it can be used as a blended classroom training also.
So I'll answer that, Milind. The idea of showing this here is to request the training partners to use it while they are training and teaching so that it becomes a very effective tool. For example, some of the language words here used are a little difficult even in Hindi. And now if there is a trainer and a tutor, he will really explain it and make it even more interesting. What this does is this gives a structure to the trainer, and he can actually go away from the structure and add his own if he wants. So that's the whole idea. It can be online as well as used as a tool. Sorry,
So
Priya.
that leads me to the next question that also probably you can answer. Is this module supposed to be used by trainers like me who do TOT and TOA, or for the training partners?
See, for for trainers, we have another module on a similar basis for training of trainers. But you can use this. See, the idea is we will give these tools and you can use it the way you want. If you feel the trainers are not matured enough and they require a little more domain expert, you can use this. But if the trainers are matured, then the real trainer's job, training the trainer, becomes more of how to make training interesting. You can show them that this is the tool they can use. But yes,
so currently we can say that this is for training partners.
That's right. We can say this is for training partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
Thank
also
you so much.
are developing something for the trainers, which we will share with you soon.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And Milind, to add to it, what it does is, as you would have already noticed, this is the characters, the visuals that actually gets retained either by the trainers or the learners. And the whole idea of showcasing this is any training partner that wants to even create content of their own, they can always reach out to us. That how to do it, because that is the expertise Growthsource holds in terms of understanding what are the requirements, what is the subject matter, and how to lay out the content.
Okay.
सतह के मूल्यांकन से हमें सतह को पेंट के लिए तैयार करने में सहायता मिल सकती है. जैसे सतह पर
I am just going to move ahead a little quickly because this is an entire course and it's a 3-hour course actually. So I will just take you now to the point that someone mentioned, whether the learner is understanding or not. So I will cover that point up.
या सतह के माप से हम पता लगाते हैं कि हमें चलिए देखते हैं सतह को कैसे मापा जाए. पहला,
so this this can go to actual details of showing the process that how to measure the surface, length, breadth, height, subtraction. It actually teaches everything.
चौथे चरण पर आता है दरवाजे और खिड़कियों. छठे चरण पर हम सीलिंग यानी हमने अभी सीखा कि हम पेंट इसी तरह से हम बाकी कमरे, लिविंग एरिया. तो अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि सतह को मापकर आवश्यक दिए गए संदर्भ के हिसाब से सही उत्तर चुनें. मान लीजिए एक कमरे की लंबाई.
This is a particular typical example where they have explained the concept that how to calculate the surface area. And now here is a question which is there in words as well as pictorially, and it actually explains that how you're supposed to identify the surface area, because identifying the surface area will lead to understanding that how much paint is required for that particular area. So I'm just randomly, I'm not reading the question, but मेरे submit करने पर it will tell me whether the answer was right or wrong. Oh, it was right answer. It was a fluke answer, but I will just try and answer a wrong thing. So this is how it boosts. So someone asked me, attentiveness. यहाँ से you will get to know what the attentiveness. The thing is, this will say whether the attentiveness is there or not. But to answer the question whether the training partner, whether the trainer gets to know who all is attentive or not, I will cover that part in the second half.
पेंट की तैयारी कोर्स में आपका स्वागत है. कोर्स शुरू करने के लिए इस भाग में हम सीखेंगे पेंट करने से पहले हमें पेंट की तैयारी. इस सब जानकारी के लिए हमें निरीक्षण
and show something.
Priya, I'll just answer one question. Mr. Ravichandran, the use of stills in the slides, it's not more dragging actually. These are moving images, It is actually moving images because Priya is showing some excerpts. It looks like that. But we can discuss this offline and we can even make it better. Your suggestions are welcome. Neelam, we will share this video. This is a learning management system. There is a cost involved in all this, which I must say at the outset, but we'll discuss this offline and make it useful and available for everyone. Go ahead. Sorry, Preeya, I need to respond sometimes. Go ahead.
Sure, no problem. Absolutely
Jagdish
fine.
sir, can I say something here?
Yes,
Good morning,
please.
this is Vikas. Yeah, this is just to answer Mr. Ravichandran. Yes, Mr. Ravichandran. I mean, while these are, lightly animated, but this can be made even more animated, depends upon what is the requirement of the course at that point in time. So, yes, you're right. It can be animated a little more or less based on the requirement.
In fact, Mr. Ravichandran, the idea is to make short modules of actual painter painting with a video clip and embed it in this. But this we will do it over a period of time. Go ahead, Preeya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here is a quiz. In every section, at the end of the section, so what we just saw was something that was while the training is being imparted or when the learner is actually taking the training, there are assessments to check whether he is on pace with the flow of the course or not. But there is a assessment that can be done towards the end of each of the module and later on towards the end of the entire course. So these are the kind of questions that can be put up. And like these questions, I mean, currently I'm showing whatever, I could manage to do it, but, you can have questions in all format, be it even on the e-learning content. It can be drag and drop, it can be multiple choice answers, it can be multiple choice questions, it can be match the column, it can be fill in the blanks, it can be erase something, drag and drop, everything. And you can actually gamify it to the extent that, you have to respond it within a certain time period.
So when are we supposed to use this quiz?
When the trainer is actually going through this, so just hold your question for a minute. The moment I come to the part of LMS, I will be able to explain this a little better, because content, good content. So effective training has two parts, as I said. One is a good content, a well-designed, good interactive content. The other is a LMS on which it sits. Because a lot of things you will know happens, but unless and until the data is not recorded, not analyzed, and not reported, basically you cannot make an inference out of it. Okay, so now let me just share this. So, this is basically an example that true or false you are seeing, multiple choice questions you are seeing, drag and drop you are seeing. So all of these can be done. So as you see what I have
There was a question in the chat box which said that the presentation was in Hindi and the quiz is in English. Can you please answer that?
The question is in English. Oh yes, it can be done in that local language. Absolutely not a problem.
See, Milind, the idea here is to share with you what we have done now. And this can be changed, after all, there is also...
It was not my question, it was by somebody else.
No,
but I thought we are missing it out, so I just tried to...
Please understand, the logic behind what's happening. And we will just, these are small issues, answering in questions. We will make it so easy for the trainer. All their queries can be answered. The idea here is to share with you all what is the structure we have developed so far. Yeah. Which we can modify, and actually this is which can be done with the tutor, so that tutor can also respond or translate these questions. So anyway, these are smaller things which we can always correct, Milind. Yeah, I mean, whoever has asked the question, I'm responding.
Yeah, in fact, I just want to show that I would have created it somewhere. It's difficult for me to check it out, but there is an entire thing. See this? Can you see this? For someone who just asked me the question right now. So the content is in Hindi, and we can also create content the same, the kind of quizzes in Hindi, the local language is what I mean. And this also can get into local language. So that is all possible. It is just that in order to cover variety limited time period, we are showing English, Hindi, and English is of course must to cover, at least for this platform, is what we actually stuck up to. So now come to this point of classroom versus LMS. Now, when you put this kind of content, as I said, a lot of things is important that it is riding on the right platform. Mostly people believe that they have an LMS. Why? Because they run a video. And that is what the concept of e-learning is also in the mind of people. A video chal raha hai from start to end and it's an e-learning. No, digitization just does not mean put up the content and just run it in one flow. All that a person can do is go back, rewind forward and look at the content again. No, e-learning is all about interactivity. The idea is to see that at every point the person is interacting with the content. And this is possible because in today's day and age, e-learning content rides on an LMS. It's important that every training partner today is on an LMS because that is where they will get an instant feedback. So, you know, this kind of questions that you saw, there is a reporting tool which can actually tell you that in the middle of the, you know, course analytics, which is called, that how many students between the course responded to the question, who all were they, what were the problems, how many were right, how many were wrong, how much time did they take to respond to an answer. So you can have all those analysis and it can tell you what things need to be done, either to keep them engaged, either to reach out to them, either to understand their problem or to take up steps in order to modify if there is any problem. So there is also social learning. Today is a day of social learning. Like, you know, people interact, you know, whatever they understood, they share with social media. They gather information from social media. So this LMS will actually offer that kind of platform. Experiential learning, which I'm sure Mr. Sridhar will cover, but there is something that we as Growthsource also do is we can create AR, VR technologies for the job roles that where, you know, experience is very important. For example, if you want to teach someone firefighting, you cannot give them that experience by putting them into fire immediately. So it is important that we create a virtual environment for them which is a replica of a real life environment. And that will help them understand what happens. As I will just cover in the LMS, you know, there are real-time certification. So that is a very big boosting that instantly I have finished something, I got 100 out of 100 and if I can get a certificate. Or it can be, you know, it can be a push to do better, that because I did not get 80% of the answers correct, that means I've not understood well and so I cannot take my certification. So the requirement is redo the examination or redo the assessment. And this can ensure that the LMS has the capability of ensuring that it's not the same questions. You can have a pool of questions that can be randomly thrown, either module wise or for the entire assessment. And of course, I've already spoken about the, so see what the analytics does. It helps you learner reports. It tells you how the learner is performing at every course level. It can tell you out of multiple courses, you know, these are, an LMS does a two job for a training partner, and it is very important to understand that it tells you how the student is performing and also from all the courses that they are doing, what is the best course, how is it performing, why are students interacting more with that course and lesser with others. So there is a lot of know-how that a training partner can generate if they have a system in place. With any kind of LMS, it is also important that a training partner is just not limited to in-classroom trainings, that they need to have a classroom and trainings can only be conducted. They can conduct the training on the LMS with a live classroom session where there is a trainer. What it does is it reduces your cost of having a training center. You can do it online and it is exactly the same experience. What it does, it helps you target a larger audience in one training session. You're not limited to only 10, 20, 30 or 50. You can actually, because this LMS has an e-commerce kind of a portal, you can actually tap more audiences to come onto your platform and take the trainings from you. You can actually upsell one, you know, if Preeya Gandhi as a training has taken one of the training subjects, which is assistant decorative painter, maybe I am geared up to take another level of course also and upsell myself. So it is an opportunity for training partners to cross-sell and upsell their product and maximize on their revenue through the existing database of learners. So these are all the opportunities that can be that can automatically happen if with a one-time investment into an LMS. So you see there is, you know, this is a dashboard where the learner can understand the progress in their own enrolled courses. Like if I have done a course, I have taken 5 courses, I will know in each of the courses how am I doing basis the time I'm spending on that course. You can see how customers or the trainees are spending time on each of the courses.
Sorry,
You
Priya,
know
to
what is,
intervene. You may have to hasten it
yeah,
up
yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So I'm almost towards the end of the presentation. So this is about students, that how well they are scoring and everything. I just want to give you something about the LMS. You know, this is the kind of LMS wherein you actually have so many reports. You can actually create reports at any point in time. You can create as many courses as you want. The courses, you can also define that a person cannot move from one level to the next level while you're creating topics of the courses in such a manner that, you know, you can chronologically ensure that after he's understood this, he moves to the ahead. You can actually have quizzes. You can actually have video playing. You can link it to the YouTube while creating the course. What I can do, you know, because of paucity of time, maybe I cannot cover in so much of details. And Mr. Acharya, if the team wants, probably we can do a detailed a session on this e-learning content creation and LMS so that training partners can take benefit of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. The idea is today to just give an exposition of this, and we will have separate calls with those who are interested in taking it further. Sure.
Absolutely. So anyone wants to reach out to me, please feel to reach out. It's myself, Vikas, and Priya.
What
Contact
we
details
want
are
to
here.
tell, sorry, Priya. What we want to tell the team here is the assistant decorative painter module is ready for you all to use. We can discuss this offline. What are the arrangements? It's not at all expensive. We are making it in such a way, Growthsource and PCSC are working together in such a way that it becomes easily implemented by the people can easily implement it at a very low cost. So we will discuss this offline, but I'm mentioning this to you that this is ready to go. A little bit of changes of language can always be built in. That's not an issue. Sorry,
Absolutely.
Priya, go ahead.
Absolutely. And as Mr. Acharya rightly said, you know, we are not like any vendors. I think with PCSC and many other sector state councils, we work like partners. We ensure that we both are succeeding and ensuring that India is getting skilled. And with the growing technology, we start using the technology to the advantage of the training partners, of the skill council and the trainees. That's it. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those. I can take it towards the end and people can reach out to us for anything more. I think there is a question.
Yeah, you can ask one or two questions because then we will go ahead and answer them later. But you can answer one or two questions, Priya.
Yes, I think this is about the mobile thing. Yes, the LMS can work on the mobile and we can create a situation where the snippets and the questions can go on their mobile. I mean, they can actually answer it from anywhere, anytime. It is not time-bound course. It is the way you create the course on the LMS. If you want to make it time-bound, it is time-bound, or else it can, you know, they can do it from their mobile phones at their leisure. So this was a question from Mr. SR. I'm not sure who it is, but I hope I've answered it.
Thank you, Priya.
Thank you everyone for being
short,
patient.
but the idea is to give a taste of what we are doing, and then we can have a separate call, discuss it in great detail. So Jigisha, over to you.
Yes, sir. It is my honor to introduce our next speaker, Sabarinath Nair, currently CEO Skillveri. He's a computer scientist with interest in simulation, integrated tech training methodologies. He has wide experience in building initiative and effective products and solutions for the developing world. Prior to founding Skillveri, he was handling marketing of Vortex ATMs. He has been selected to be on the Prime Minister Champions of Change initiative on the panel for education and skill development. He is a winner of NSDC's National Innovation for Skills Challenge in 2014. I welcome you, sir, once again Sabarinath sir.
Thank you, Jigisha. Thank you, Jagdish sir. And also happy to see my old friend Ravichandran sir from Berger here as an active participant. Yes. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what we have is a platform for multiple skills, which includes 4 kinds of spray painting. So I will explain about that. So today we have around...
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yes,
clearly, Sabri. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So today we have more than 250 installations worldwide, around 130 in India and about 120 mostly in North America and a little bit in Europe. I'm happy to share with you that we have now become world's #1 in spray painting training simulators and India's #1 in welding simulators. And some of our key customers are, of course, Berger Paints, Asian Paints, AkzoNobel, Kansai Nerolac, Axalta. From the paint manufacturing companies, they use our simulator for the internal training needs as well as for the training centers that the paint companies run. And amongst the industry customers, we have Alstom, Suzuki, Caterpillar, Piaggio, Hyundai, Kia, and many others. So we are a company that is headquartered here in India. We started building this product together with IIT Madras. So it's a completely indigenous product. And we now have licensed manufacturers and resellers in Europe and North America, particularly Poland, Germany, UK, Canada, Singapore, and Nigeria. So why do we do this? So we all are here. We know that hand skills are a problem as in the getting the right skill is not easy. And there is a high cost of making a mistake. If you paint something incorrectly, then you will waste a lot of time and money and labor in correcting that mistake. So when we have something like a NEET or a JEE exam for measuring your text knowledge, there is no equivalent measure for measuring your hand dexterity skill. So that is what we are trying to build here. So what we have is a platform which is a virtual reality, extended reality kind of tool, which why I say extended reality is because you have a real spray gun or a real welding gun in the real world, which can be brought into the virtual world at exactly the same distance and scale that you would see in the virtual, and the real and virtual world will match. And so we have this platform which can measure your hand movement, compare it against your ideal movement, and then have a mechanism to train, as well as there is a backend analytics which will run, which will help you further refine your training methods. So there are 10 skills across 3 verticals being welding, spray painting, and solar panel installation. Around 15 lakh people have been trained using this method through our customers, and around 11 billion data points have been analyzed to know what is a good training and how it can be made even better. So how does it happen? If I take the specific case of painting, then anything that has to be improved has to be first measured. And in painting, it means measuring the timing of the trigger, the angles of holding the spray gun, the speed of the spray gun, the overlap between strokes, and the distance the gun is having with the substrate that is being painted. While you are painting, you get live feedback. So it will tell you with a speedometer whether you're painting at the right speed. It will, with arrow marks, guide you to come closer or move farther away depending on how you're holding the gun, all that. And once you finish the painting, you get a DFT meter which will tell you where all the paint has been applied correctly, where all it has been applied excess, where all it has been applied less than what's required. And it will show a retrace of your hand movements, again color coded with red, green, and yellow, to show why the DFT has been excess in some place or why the DFT has been less in some place. So you're able to correlate your hand movement to your quality output. And similar to what Preeya earlier mentioned, there is a backend which gives you details about what kind of lessons have been completed by who and how much and how many attempts did that person take, all that. And I will not therefore repeat what's been already spoken about. And in addition, something most of my customers find very useful is that in addition to giving a scorecard telling what was right, what was wrong, and the DFT and everything, we also talk about the coat efficiency. So what it means is that every paint will have a spread. Like, with 1 liter of paint, you can paint so many square feet of or square meter of surface. Have you applied the paint most efficiently? Like, if you are using HPLP, you could get an efficiency of 45% or so. But in this particular case, the person has painted well. He has covered 100% of the workpiece, but he has an efficiency of only 31.48%. So there is a scope for that person to improve more. In addition to the process wastage, the transfer efficiency is counted. After that, have you made most of your transfer efficiency? That's something that can be taught. So not only to teach to paint correctly, but also to paint at minimum wastage. So that is something that can be taught using the simulator. Now, before I go in, let me show you a video of how this painting happened. So keep in mind that what I'm showing you is a 2D video, whereas what we have is actually a 3D simulation. And therefore, unless you put on the headset and feel it in 3D, you will not get a full feeling. But with a video on Zoom, let's see what best we can communicate. So the training modules are organized as per the end application. So one module for automotive OEM, one module for automotive refinish, one module for decorative, and one module for protective. Since most of the users here are from the decorative side, I'll skip towards the decorative painting so that it's more relevant for this audience. So there are two models, one which has real welding gun, real painting guns, and then there is one model which does not have real painting guns. So this is how the person who is wearing the helmet is seeing that's being shown here on the screen right now. So in decorative, again, it is split into two halves. So decorative airless is shown with the wall being painted, and then you have decorative air spray for the wood coatings. So the lessons start from very simple basics, like, how to maintain the right distance, how to maintain the right angle, when to time the trigger, when, how to overlap between two strokes. So once that is covered, we come to the Morris strip, where you have black and white squares over which you have to paint. So once you paint correctly, you will no longer be able to make out the black and white color. Then we move to a situation where you are seen like you are standing inside a small actual room, and you are asked to paint a portion of that room. Then we bring in to paint a corner of that room, and then you have to paint a portion of the wall that has a window inside. So you have to first mask the window area, and then you have to paint the wall. Like this, the lessons will progress from easy to more complex lessons. So then a large wall and then a small room. And this is the airless air spray paint for the wood finish. So you come from the whatever is covered in wood. So you have the staircase, then you have the staircase railing, then you have the window, and then you have that small portion on the floor, then you have the room door. Like this, it will progress. So in this case, he's using a real airless gun. He feels he's inside a room and he has to paint the room corner. So on the left side, we are showing what the person is seeing inside. That person will feel it in 3D, whereas what we are seeing here is in 2D. And all the settings that can be done on a real spray gun, like, in particular, the airless spray gun has a tip selection, and some tips can be used to spray only some materials. So all that is also shown. So this is what I said, you can analyze the thickness or DFT. So once you select this mode, it shows in green color wherever you have applied the right amount of paint. And yellow means that you have not applied it sufficiently.
I have a question.
Yes.
Milind here, I have a question. Why is there an option of an unreal gun?
Yeah, I will come to that. Just remind me when I come to the later portion of this video. So this is the protective coating which Mr. Ravichandran here has contributed a lot in terms of understanding the nuances and then doing a lot of trial with the team of Berger. So this is what I said, you have the tip selection possibility also. So it'll tell you the tip number and you can select the tip with the number, and then it'll show what kinds of paints can be sprayed with that tip, and therefore if you have selected the right tip and the right paint, only then you can start the painting activity. This is available for the decorative also. And this is the version with the non-real paint gun. The paint gun appears virtual. And Milind, to answer your question, when you are seeing it in video, it will feel a little awkward. But when you try this small portable headset, you would find that actually it is 90-95% almost as good as having a real gun in your hand. Because the human thing is actually about 80% visual, 15% audio. The touch feel is only 5%. So if you are sufficiently able to, once you try it, no matter how much I explain, but if you try it in person.
My suggestion is, you must try it, and we'll arrange for the trial in, we have installed it in Vikramgarh. Maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, I'll arrange for you to personally go and see that.
Yes.
It will going to be very, very effective. Sorry, Sabri, go ahead.
Yeah. And so this is the automotive OEM version where you are taught how to paint the entire car, and you will feel like you're standing inside a spray booth. And let me skip it a bit forward. So this is a vehicle refinish painting training. So you have to go through a few steps like the cleaning of the workpiece, then using a photospectrometer to find the color of the car body, and then masking, then sanding, like that. So I'll stop the video right now and I'll come back to the presentation. And so this is a case study done at a commercial vehicle manufacturer. So before the simulator was adopted, they had an internal training center training for 1 month and on-the-job training for 3 months. The training center did not have any conveyor system because the conveyor system is very costly to put in place. And the on-the-job training is always on the conveyor. So there was a lot of challenges because if one item does not get completely painted, then
1 minute, Sabri.
Yeah.
Can I request Bhavsar Foundation to mute, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Sabri. Bhavsar Foundation, please mute kijiye. Thank you. Go ahead, Sabri.
Yeah. So whenever the fresh people on the conveyor, they make a mistake, sometimes the entire conveyor has to be stopped. So that was leading to a lot of losses. So once we implemented the simulator plus actual equipment integrated course, so simulator would be 80% of the lessons, actual equipment will be 20% of the lesson. The internal training center training was brought down to 10 days and the on-the-job training was brought down to 4 weeks. And subsequently, measurements showed that there was a 50% reduction in rejections and a 65% reduction in rework. So this is the portable kit that I showed you in the video earlier on. So the person looking from outside will feel like somebody is holding something like a mouse or a joystick in hand. But the person wearing it, he will feel like he is having the actual spray gun in hand. And in fact, the simulation will also teach you what all other parts of the gun. So for example, in this Graco contractor gun, you can know which is the spray tip, which is the portion to select the nozzle orientation, all that can be seen. And it is very useful for training at the site. Many times it is difficult to get the trainees to come into the training center. So many of my consultant trainers are carrying this. You can see the size of the kit. In fact, I have it here with me. It's as small as this. You can see the picture with the hand there. So you know that it's easy to carry. It's about 1 kilogram in weight. So it can be set up in 5 minutes. If you have a laptop or a TV, what happens inside the headset, you can see on the laptop or the TV, and you can use it to record and replay what's happening also. And particularly if some work has to happen and then an evening course has to be run, then this becomes very easy to run. So this is one example of a typical training center. So this is in Government ITI Cuttack, where they teach both welding and spray painting. And so this is the picture of the setup. The picture on the right is from the Berger eye train in Kochi. In fact, here I want to stop and show you one video. So typically there is this impression that painting is a men-dominated activity and only men can paint well. There is also this impression that airless painting for decorative is a very dangerous activity. Women cannot handle it. So let me show you one video of how this lady who was a student at the Berger eye train in Kochi, how she painted after going through the simulation training for 2 days. Let me share my screen once more. Yeah. So this is her painting on a wall with an airless gun. This is on the 2nd or 3rd day of training. So she is making no mistake. She's holding the spray gun without arching. She's understanding the overlap. So a good case of how a simulator can intervene in a very positive way and make it viable for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds to handle equipment that was earlier thought to be very tough to handle. So this is the center that Jagdish sir has been mentioning about. So this is in collaboration with the PCSC. This is about 100 kilometers north of Mumbai in a place called Vikramgarh. So it has a combination of the big simulator which has the real welding and spray guns and 3 of the smaller portable kits. So the capacity is around 20 people can be simultaneously trained here. And as I mentioned earlier, there are multiple skills that can be trained on the same device. So in addition to welding and spray painting, there is a beta stage of training module for blasting, abrasive blasting. Again, Berger Paints is helping us build the product to a much more finished state. And there is also training for what is called as foam spray, which is similar to spray painting, but it is meant for the thermal insulation spray typically used in the cold countries. So countries like Poland, Canada, they all use this extensively. So our customers there are using this. And then there are modules for this solar panel site survey, assembly, and installation. So one device investment you can do for multiple skills. So this I have explained that there are multiple kinds of end applications. The lessons on the simulation are sequenced as per the end application, not as per the product, but as per the application of the product. So the lessons are like common to all the kinds of application. We teach how to operate the trigger, how to maintain the right overlap, how to maintain the distance. Then along with distance, can you maintain the angle? When 2 skills are combined into one, there is a slight scoring, your score might fall. And then you bring in distance, angle, and speed together. So everything is taught on a flat workpiece. And then specific to each application, the workpieces will change. So if you are taking decorative airspray, then you will have the staircase, balustrade, and so on. And if you have the decorative airless, then it will be the wall that gets painted. And inside the simulation, everything is as real as you can get. So if you're taking the automotive thing, you will feel like you're standing inside a spray booth. And then you can select different kinds of gun, different kinds of paint. You can have different types of paint, like you have some which have a 2 coat, some which have a 3 coat. So all that can be selected. And if you if you point at the gun, it will tell you what all parts are for what purpose. And every change that you can make in the real world can be made on the virtual world also. And like I said, if you select the kind of application and you, let's say you select the base coat, you will be taken to a painting machine or a paint dispensing machine from which you can select the color. And the lessons go from easy to more and more difficult. So the curvature or the complexity of the job to be painted will keep getting more and more increased. If you're a trainer, you log in and you'll find everything is unlocked. But if you're a student, you have to log in and then only the first level will be unlocked. You'll have to keep practicing scoring above a certain number to get to the other next more complex lesson. And this is the DFT meter I was telling you about. So once you've painted, it will tell you in color-coded manner how much of the surface you have painted correctly. This is the coat efficiency that I spoke about earlier. And in decorative, these are the lessons. And in automotive OEM, it goes to have a smaller curved component like a bonnet, then a more curved component like a fender, then you have a good curved component like a door, which also has a cutout in between. So it's a tough workpiece to paint on. Then these components will come on a conveyor. Then you are taught how to spray on a full car and then a full car on conveyor. And the conveyor can also have all these settings like, will they constantly keep moving or will they come, stop for a few seconds and then go? The speed of the conveyor, everything can be set. Refinish, there are different workpieces which have a damage and then you have to follow the steps specific to repairing that damaged workpiece. So that's all in my presentation. I will take a look at the questions now. I'm sorry I didn't look at the questions or the chat window before. Yes, I think there are no new questions as of now in the chat window. I'm free to answer any questions you might have.
The only thing I would suggest is if anybody is interested in checking this out, because nothing like experiencing this, as I have personally learned, please let Sabri know or let me know. In Bombay, we'll arrange it in Vikramgarh, in anywhere else, Sabri can arrange it. So this is something I will request all the training partners to have a look at it, training master trainers to have a look at it. And we can, if they want to train somebody in this, we can assign a place so that, they don't have to invest on it and we can see how to work out the logistics.
Thank you so much, Jagdish sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to you, Jigisha.
Thank you, sir. That was nice presentation, Sabarinath sir. Thank you very much for these insights. I'm very excited to introduce our next speaker, Sridhar N, founder and managing partner, Innovatus Systems. He's a technocrat, innovator, and entrepreneur with rich international experience in the information technology domain. In his career spanning more than 4 decades, he has proved his mettle many times in finding effective software solutions to complex business issues. He holds Electronica and Communication Engineering degree from NIT, Trichy, 1975. He had a rewarding career working with companies like Bharat Heavy Electricals, Wipro, Mohsin Haider, Oman, Etisalat, UAE, National Bank of Fujairah, UAE. After having held senior positions with reputed establishments abroad, he returned to India to set up Innovatus Systems, a boutique software solutions provider that has contributed to the success of their long-standing client list. The company works on belief, be innovative, stay ahead. I welcome Sridhar sir to introduce us to your products.
Thank you, Jigisha. Thank you, Mr. Acharya. Thank you for inviting me here today to be present with this august crowd. I was really impressed by the presentations made by Ms. Preeya and Mr. Sabarinath. I learned a lot today. I never even knew that such equipments exist, and it's a great learning for us. So the learning management system has won its first student. here itself. That's what I can say. Okay. Whatever I saw today was how a painter can execute his job. So let me know if everybody is able to hear me clearly. Otherwise,
Yes, sir. Very much.
so what I saw was it's about how a painter can execute his job well. Now, there is one step before that, especially for decorative painting. And Mr. Acharya in his introduction said, most the painters, it's unstructured market. So which means they have to win their own business. There are companies which offer professional painting solutions. Paint companies also have these, and there are third-party solution providers. I know that. But majority of the painters are, they have to win their own business. How do they do it? So they have to work as a marketing executive. They have to work as the actual operations person and also the accounts man, because he has to run behind the customer to collect his money. So can he do all these? I don't know. And I have seen painters, I have talked to them various times. They'll come to me with a small paper or a notebook or a gallery or a phone gallery and say, these are the colors they have been doing, etc. Okay. Now let me share a presentation which I have made, and time permits, I'll also show a video of what we have to offer today. Yeah. So it's all about unlimited visualizations. We call our software Color Wizard. And it has got 3 software in that suite, about which I'm going to talk to you today. About Innovatus Systems, thank you, Jigisha, for the introduction. We are focused on 3 different products. One of them is digital color visualization. Second one is on facial recognition technology. Third one is on intelligent document processing. All 3 have brought immense benefits to the clientele we have. Our clients extend to USA, South Africa, India, Dubai. Yeah. You see, in the last few years, digital technology has exploded a lot, thanks to government, thanks to various digital payment methods, etc. Okay, but these have all happened, especially in the financial sector and the e-commerce sector. And this pandemic has also created a new awareness. Everybody is worried about the pandemic, but it has also created new awareness to us how to work from home. All of us are working from different locations today. We are able to communicate without any issues. Okay? And so which means everybody is now feeling comfortable while going digital across industries. It has spread across business owners, the youth, the women folk, and also the various types of service providers. B2C and B2B transactions via the internet have become the accepted norm. Think about it, in 2018, we will be wondering how to make a payment through our mobile or online, etc., etc. Now we have so many mechanisms. One QR code will, within one phone, everything is taken care of. Okay. So, if so, what about the paint industry? As far as I know, these figures may be wrong, may be right. Whatever I have gathered from the net I have put, paint market is about 60,000 crores, or might be growing. CAGR is quite high, I think, and mostly made up of SMEs and few major players. Berger is one of them. Okay. And of course, Kansai Nerolac, Akzo Nobel, Asian Paints is at the top. But what about the others? There are several, more than almost 2,700 SMEs. And there are dealers for all of them in several thousands. And coming to our subject today, the painting applicators or the painters, I think our number around 2 million. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the figure is must be closer to the reality. Okay. So in that case, can the paint industry lag behind in going digital? Whatever you have offering is for the person to execute his job, it's digital, excellent. What about other areas in the paint industry? So it's a disruptive technology, everybody will agree. So what should be done to tackle this disruptive technology? I know recently Akzo Nobel has launched a scheme called Paint the Future. That's a very good initiative. Maybe other paint companies are also thinking on similar lines, but is that enough? So where is the starting point? Starting point, I would say is, no, it's about giving freedom to the younger generation. I'm deviating from the subject of painters slightly here, because who are the customers? The customers are the younger generation, the discerning homemaker, the DIY segment, and all those who live and sleep with a smartphone by their side. All of us must be having at least 2 smartphones today, and it's become a part of our own body now. So, do we give them enough flexibility to decide on what color to choose? Okay, coming to the paint applicators, as going back to that original statement, that is pretty unstructured. If the paint applicators are given the relevant software and sufficient training to convert their leads quickly, think about the market growth, and that may come about. And it will be of great benefit to everybody, not just the paint company, the dealers, the painters, the customers, and the training trainers, everybody all over the country. Okay. So how to do it? We have the answer. Innovatus Systems, we started on 1st January 2013, and we are in the 10th year now. We can play a role here by different means, such as provide our software on a license basis, maybe to the trainers to train the painters on our software and with digital color visualization. We provide training on its usage to the trainers, do professional previews. We are also working as a professional preview center for certain companies. We know how to do the photoshopping work, etc. And also support the users. Why? Because we believe we can do it because we have a field-proven software which has been compared with the best in the world today. And 2 major MNCs are already using it. It is very affordable and very, very easy to learn. It does not require any graduation degree or anything like that. Anybody can learn it within half an hour or so. And more than that, we have been involved with the paint industry for more than a decade now. Even before the Innovatus was started, I was running another company. And since that day onwards, we have been associated with the paint industry. Okay. So coming to, everybody was talking about spray guns, etc. I'm going to talk about how to paint without a paintbrush. What does it mean? We have the software called Color Wizard suite of software. So it uses advanced digital color visualization technology. One question may pop up in someone's mind here, how accurate the color will be on the screen, whereas how it, when it's compared to what is actually applied on the wall. Believe me, it's almost a very close match because of 2 reasons. One, we have used very advanced technology in our software. Second, the quality of the viewing mediums have also gone up several folds. Our mobile phones are all OLED screens. So don't have to worry at all about it. And we have developed it due to our experience in this field and also have got it validated by several domain experts. Some of them you may know very well and don't want to name them here. We have even shown our software to color experts, domain experts, everybody, and they have all come out with a good word. Now we have 3 versions of the software which can be used for multiple purposes. The 3 versions, it comes under the common name Color Wizard. The first one is Colors Galore. Colors Galore is a mobile app. Many of the paint companies, the major paint companies do have their own mobile apps, but not everyone. And such mobile apps focus more on advertising their products, and the visualization is a small button in some corner. It's very difficult to go and track it also. Okay. Here we have developed a dedicated color visualization app without any frills. So it makes it easy for a painter to do his job, to get a lead. It is for instant previews. I would say it's like more like taking a selfie. Okay. Then we have the Color Wizard. for professional previews. Not all the buildings can be previewed easily. But let me explain the term preview for those who may be wondering what I'm talking about. It's about taking the picture of an interior or an exterior, applying a color on the wall and see how it looks like, comparing it with another option, and finally making a decision. Okay, that's what we call it as previews. So professional previews are not every building it may be possible to use this mobile app, because the building might be having telephone wires going outside or a tree hiding part of the building, etc. So it will require some amount of photoshopping work. That's a slight wait time. We do such professional previews. Okay. And this software is very, very accurate. It runs on the browser and also on a tab. A person can demonstrate the colors on the tab. The third one, which we recently launched, is called Color Wizard 360. This came up by a chance remark from a gentleman from a major paint company. He wanted to know whether we can do augmented reality, 360-degree rotation, etc. I checked on the software, they're quite expensive. They won't be affordable to a painter. When he wants to showcase his work, in fact, I did an interview of two painters whom I know in my area. They said they have some samples of work they have done, show it on their mobile phone, which is a 4-inch screen. Hardly, it doesn't impress at all. So we came out with this solution where one has to just fix 4 images on a cube, software cube, I mean, and it makes to rotate it. And it gives a different, impression together. Okay. They can do on-the-spot previews or professional after a little wait time. And and also 360-degree for doing their work. Now, what are the usual methods to decide on a color? Conventional method is apply a test paint like your samplers, which you can buy, apply a small coat of paint on a wall, guess, leave it to God to decide, or carry around these fan decks, which are quite heavy, and not everybody will have that, so they carry a small pamphlet, or of course, guess. Okay. But we have a better method, Color Wizard. Just take a photograph, upload it into the software, apply the colors digitally, view and enjoy. That's all. Okay. Now, the Color Wizard, all the three, the Color Wizard software, what I'm talking about, can take care of all these types of buildings. For example, so you might have a doubt, can it work on an interior, can it work on an exterior, etc. We have the answers for all of these. If you, on the left side, you will see semi-finished. It's not yet completed. Even the primer coating is not done. Yes, our software will work. The same building, Photoshop, nicely painted and white. Yes, it will work. There's repainting. Look at the dirt on the left side. Yeah, most of the painters get to, they get repainting jobs, not new painting jobs. And repainting, visualization on a repainting job is very difficult because the new color will blend with the old color. But in our software, it does not happen. It takes care of even applying the primer and then applying the new color. Okay, that's what it is. Then furnished interior. You can see even the reflection of the light, the table lamps light, and above that there is a shadow. Exactly the same thing will be reproduced so that you get a real life feeling. And an unfurnished interior. It's just 2 chairs. That's also possible. Repainting of this type of a G+3. Same building. You can see clothes hanging. You can see that barricades and the wire frames on the balcony, car standing, etc. And now how to visualize on this? Yes, you can do that. Photoshop, same image, Photoshop cleaned by us. High-rise repainting, this again, a single painter may not be able to do this job. It normally comes under the projects division of any paint company. But decision-making in such cases is quite long because there won't be one person to decide. There will be several people. Now you can see the dirt on the building. You can see the electric wires, etc. Yes, possible. High-rise, same building, Photoshop, clean. In the bargain, the neighbor building is also Photoshop. So they will also get to see their thing. Okay. It covers all such things. Now, these are the three apps. We have a mobile app called Colors Galore for instant, as repeated. And the middle one is Color Wizard, which works on the browser, where here we are showing a standard generic color palette, but depending on which company chooses, we can load the palette of that company so that the painter can choose. If he is working with a particular paint company, that particular palette can be chosen. In addition, we have been doing this job for 10 years now. So we have a huge amount of statistics on the color preferences at different parts of the country. So we have also created combinations, catalogs. So the painter need not go around, search around what color to choose and all. He can select it from the catalog itself. And the third one on the right is the Color Wizard, which is a rotating cube. I'll show you that at the end of this. Now, this is how the Color Wizard works. And it's so simple. Just with the click of a mouse button, the color gets applied uniformly. You can see the windows don't have the colors. There's no color splash. The shadows are retained. You can see the shadow on the this thing on the right side. Okay, so everything is taken care of. It creates a real life feeling. So how do they use these three software? Okay, and we are prepared to train the trainers also in this regard, how to make the painters use this software. So here, Color Wizard 360, a painter can generate a lead quickly using this software. All that he has to do is prepare a cube, which we can help him do that. It's a very simple 10-minute, 5-minute process. Okay. And you can preserve it online. So anybody can see it from anywhere on a tab or a computer, etc. So his geographical limitations do not exist. He can get orders from anywhere. Okay. It's purely online and showcase it to an interested customer. In the place where I live, there are a lot of NRIs. Most of the family and the main decision makers live abroad. So from foreign country, they can take a view, look at the visualization and decide and execute the job here. Okay, it's a new experience. Okay, I can just show you a 2-minute video of that. I'll click it here. In fact, a jewelry company has taken it. So that's why I have got jewelry things also. Okay, let's take this picture. So you can have 3 color options and also the original picture, and that's all. It's using software, fixes it on a template, and that's it. It just rotates. The link can be sent to the customer wherever he is. He can see it in a tab. I can even provide the same link to you all. You can also try it out. It's no cost. Okay. So it gives, I can skip it, I can make it faster. I can make it rotate the other way. I can even zoom. I can also stop it. So to get a view. See, I can zoom. I can zoom. I can also include music. I didn't play any music here because Zoom won't allow me that. But I can fix anything like that. For example, we did it for a jewelry company. In fact, we never thought jewelry companies will like it, but this is in Chennai. So any company which wants to promote its products, this is an option, which is a much cheaper option when compared to AR or VR or anything like that. And it's very quick. Okay. But actually, I have loaded some of the actual jobs we did. Some of the images we do on professional visualization. I'll show you. This is a building which we did. You look at this. This is unpainted, that's uncemented, with a lot of decorations, a lot of things on the curved side. Our software can apply color exactly. You can see that the curved portion very clearly visible. Okay. I can also show you while at this stage. the professional visualization work for an interior. Yeah, sorry. It's not. That's the original color. Now new color applied. You can see here, you can see the light. The light is there and the table lamp, but the shadows are preserved above the table lamp. Even the bed coverings can be visualized. Okay, I can keep changing the colors n number of times. So this gives limitless possibilities to a painter or any dealer or anyone to showcase his work without touching a coat of paint. Okay, then Colors Galore app, a minute. I'll show you the video separately. The screen is hiding it. Okay, so it's just a minute. Yeah, this is a video of an interior using our mobile app. Now we have changed the logo. It's the old one. You can take an instant picture. You can also store it from take it from the gallery. Now a painter wants to, demonstrate how the new color will look to the owner of a house. All that he has to do is select the color. He selected a color and touches it on the wall. That's all. It's 2 seconds. If you notice, most of the companies who have launched such app, there will be so many other things on the app that the painter will get confused. I have myself evaluated almost 15 odd such things. Then only we decided it should be focused on this one. Okay. So we do have it, same thing for exterior also. And Color Wizard is for professional previews. So how they can work is Color Wizard 360. They can preserve their work online. They don't need to carry around their mobile phone or anything. Showcase it to an interested customer, and it will be a new experience for the customer, which will enable him to win the lead quickly. Colors Galore app, when he is talking to a potential customer, he can click a picture on the spot, apply colors on the spot, or he can also use sample images stored already. We provide certain sample images also, which you can use. So you need not carry bulky shade cards or printed material. Think about it. The same thing can be applied to a sales executive also. Get the customer interested. Now Color Wizard is for professional previews. So he will click proper photographs of the surface to be painted, submit it to Photoshop work. You can either give it to us or you can get it Photoshop himself and upload it in our software. In return, you will get a soft copy album made up of 3 color options. The album can be in a PDF form. The album can be shown to the customer. And that's where our Color Wizard wins over other software. Here, the customer might say, I like these colors, but can it be made slightly lighter? The green is a little darker. Can it be made lighter? You need not go back to the drawing board again. You can do the changes on the spot and show it again, so that the interaction between the customer and the executive, or the painter or the sales executive ends up profitably for both the sides. So that's easy to learn, easy to use, it's a quick win, and above all, it's very affordable. So these are the 3 software about which I spoke to you: Colors Galore and Color Wizard and Color Wizard 360. So that's my contact details. That's my email ID. And interested people can contact me further. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time provided to me.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar. That was very good. I would like to mention to all the training partners, master trainers, and our audience here, we have to decide how to use this. The idea is, if the painter comes to know that there is a tool like this available, we can see how to give it to him on scale. We can see how to give it to a lot of painters on scale, which we can discuss with innovators. The idea is, if he has a tool like this and if we are able to train him, his own esteem in front of the customer increases manifold. I have heard painters who use this saying, my madam now treats me like an engineer. Madam means the lady of the house. So, the entire approach towards this is, and most of them have phones, smartphones. So even if they don't have, it's possible to ensure that they get an idea of what this is all about. And their contractors, that is their bosses, can have some of these things made available to them. So the idea is not just painters, but even contractors or the supervisors can have this. So I would urge all of you to think of these things as the tools which will help us in making our training very effective and aspirational. Thank you, Mr. Sridhar. Jigisha, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thanks. I think now if there are questions, we should address those questions. Though there is no question right now, but
no, there is one. Yeah, he has answered the question.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions you have, please do ask. As Mr. Sridhar said, disruptive technologies, you may think that they may not be very cost effective now, but in 5 years it will become a part of our lives. And I think this color estimation, color visualization, and color scheming, this will become a very important skill for a painter, and you can use this tool to generate more income. Jigisha, I think
Yes.
If there are no questions, we can then proceed to the last item on the agenda. Yeah.
Okay. I would now like to invite and request Shimona Talwar to give vote of thanks to all our speakers.
She may have just, I think she is busy with another call. Can you go ahead, Jigisha? You can
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead. Yeah, I think you go ahead. Shimona is busy with some urgent call. She's just messaged to me. You can go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay. Right, sir. Okay. I would like to really thank all our, first of all, our special speakers, Preeya Gandhi from Growthsource, Sabarinath sir from Skillveri, and Sridhar sir from Innovatus Systems. I would like to thank Sir Jagdish sir for your presence and guidance all through the conversation, and everyone who has actually invested their precious time joining us for the discussion.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to again meeting you all with some more of these sessions. If anyone is interested, please do get in touch with Jigisha. Or
they can email me, message me. They have my number. I will also put in here. So later on, if they have any questions, any queries related to this, or they want to get in touch with the speaker, maybe through me, then definitely they can contact.
You're also most welcome to directly get in touch with Mr. Sridhar, Mr. Sabarinath, and Preeya for your inquiries. Thank you.